This is Matthew Wilson, CEO of Addictive Culture Entertainment. Now they're pulling me over. They want me to get out. No crime has been committed, and they have reasonable, articulable suspicion by constitutional law that I have to have drugs in my car, and they are therefore allowed to do a search on my car.
I do need you to exit the vehicle now.
I haven't committed a crime, and I'm not getting out the car. You're not going to violate my rights. I know the rights. I got lawyers. We got lots of lawyers.
I appreciate that, sir. So a supervisor is on the way, but you need to get out of that vehicle, because if you don't, we're going to remove you from the vehicle and you'll be charged with a crime.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Southern Draw Law. My name is James White, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, former police officer. All right, we have a really interesting case to discuss today coming out of the state of Colorado. It was shared by a YouTube channel called Titan ADK and depicts a pretextual traffic stop that happened sometime in the middle of 2023 and a canine sniff of a vehicle owned by a black businessman by officers in the Bloomfield, Colorado Police Department. I've edited all but the portions of the source video relevant to our discussion, so make sure you head over to Titan ADK's channel to watch the whole interaction and give him credit for sharing it. I have a feeling the police department's going to end up having to pay out on this thing, so let's watch.
These officers are pulling me over. They said it was a tag. Now they're saying that I have drugs. I have no drugs. I'm a business owner. I'm late to pick up my wife. Now they're trying to tell me that I have to step out. I haven't committed a crime. I've told you that I'm not getting out the car because I know the law. I haven't committed a crime. If you want to violate my rights further, I promise you're going to be famous.
And I'll tell you right now, I don't normally do this, but we have some drug detectives that were following you. And
wow.
Yeah, and they think
where'd they follow me from? Tell me.
Well, I don't have that information, but
I travel this road every day.
Okay.
My wife is a doctor in Boulder.
They want you out of the car, and we want to do a sniff on the car with the drug.
I'm not. You don't have. Call your supervisor.
Okay, I'll get.
Are you gonna violate my rights? I just told you call your supervisor. I'm late picking up my wife, bro.
And I can get information from other officers that tell me they have probable cause to do a sniff on your car.
I don't care about whoever your supposed detectives are that follow me. Man, I travel this road daily, back and forth, multiple times. Yeah. My wife works in Boulder. If you violate my rights, I'm going to make a case against you, and I'm going to win.
Okay.
You're profiling me because I'm black.
Has nothing to do with that.
You're profiling me because I'm black, bro.
You just happen to be black, and I just happen to be
white. No,
you
just happen to not be the first officer of white descent to call me a drug dealer because I'm in a Beamer. My family is rich. Okay. My family is rich. I don't have to sell drugs. We own construction companies, restaurants, entertainment businesses, houses, real estate, and all type of shit. I don't have to sell drugs, bro.
A lot of people that sell drugs get rich, and then they have these other shell companies that are shell companies.
You're profiling me. Are you going to violate my rights? We'll I asked you to call your supervisor.
Okay, we're working on that. He's pulling the race thing. Why are you doing this to me?
I don't care. I've got a reason to stop him. I want to switch the car. I've got a reason to pretend to get out of the car.
Okay. Yeah, that's the information that you got from them?
I got told that they in this car and they want to sniff on it. They need information to be open.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Sir? Excuse me, sir? A supervisor is on the way to talk to you, okay? But I do need you to exit the vehicle now.
I haven't committed a crime, and I'm not getting out the car. You're not going to violate my rights. I know the rights. I got lawyers. We got lots of lawyers.
I appreciate that, sir. But
I didn't even have to give him my information, and I cooperated. If I was a drug dealer, why not run?
Okay.
If I was a drug dealer, why did I give him I know the law. I don't even have to give him my information.
Well, you do.
Because I haven't committed a crime, bro.
You operate a vehicle with expired registration.
That's not a crime, bro.
Yes, it is.
That's civil court, bro.
Okay, so listen to me, sir.
For that.
Sir, we're asking you nicely. Legally speaking, we have the right. The Supreme Court has already decided we can ask you to get out of the vehicle. You choose to not get out of the vehicle as a criminal offense in itself. We don't want to go that route.
Watch this, y'all.
Okay, so a supervisor is on the way, but you need to get out of that vehicle, because if you don't, we're going to remove you from the vehicle and you'll be charged with a crime.
You'll be violating my rights, and I'm going to sue out of you.
And that's your choice as an American citizen.
Oh.
But we don't want to have to get that way. So if you get out of the vehicle, we don't have to use force, and we don't have to.
Hey, look, I'm going to let them search, y'all. Watch this. I want all y'all badge numbers. Ain't that? I want you to check everything in here.
So do me a favor.
I'm gonna open up the trunk for you too.
So Titan's name is Matthew Wilson, and he's pulled over here because apparently there were some drug detectives that were following him at some point prior to the stop. They suspected him for whatever reason of illegal activities, and they asked the patrol units to find a reason to stop him. Now this is called a pretextual stop, and that basically just means that the officer has some other reason in the back of his mind as to why he wants to make the stop other than the one he gives the person or the legal reason for the stop. So most often that's cases where you want to do a drug investigation, so you pull somebody over for a broken tail light or some other traffic infraction. Now the Supreme Court held in the case of Wren that a pretextual stop is permissible so long as there's an actual legal reason for the stop itself. So what the officer's subjective intent to do once they made the stop doesn't really matter as long as the stop itself is legal. Now in this case, Mr. Wilson is stopped for an expired plate, and it had been expired for several months, and there's no real dispute about that. So there was an independent lawful basis for the stop. But the officers make it clear pretty early on that they have zero interest in anything except searching his vehicle.
It's because I'm black and I'm in a Beamer, cuz.
Nothing about race.
Look at my family, rich as you about to find out.
It's nothing about that, bro. It's because of that right there. You see that? December 16th of 2022.
So if it was a tag, you're citing that to me it's a tag. This individual told me that detectives, drug detectives were following me, bro.
That might be
There's people out here doing 90 and a 65. You chose to pull me over. You cited, I know the law, bro. I got lots of lawyers and lots of money. You told me it was a tag, but now all of a sudden, drug detectives follow me from where? Where they follow? From a drug house? Because I'm black, I must have came from the trap.
It's nothing about race.
I must have came from the trap house, huh?
I promise you right now, I can promise you right now, it's nothing about race. It's nothing about that. I understand your frustration. Have you had any good experience with officers?
What's your name
before?
and your badge number?
My name is Officer Zamora. Here, I'll give you my card as well. My name is Officer Zamora with the Broomfield Police Department. My badge number is 5042. Here's my card.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's your name and your badge number?
Officer Ehlers, badge number 5475.
What's your name and your badge number?
Jay Lingle, 574.
In the 2015 Supreme Court case of Rodriguez versus United States, the court ruled that the permissible time to detain a person on a traffic stop is whatever the reasonable time it takes to care for the mission of the traffic violation and the related safety concerns. In the particular case of Rodriguez was stopped for a moving violation for driving on the shoulder of the roadway. At some point during the traffic stop, the officer developed a hunch that Rodriguez was trafficking in narcotics. He finished the license and administrative checks, and then he issued Rodriguez a warning ticket. However, instead of letting him go, he told Rodriguez that he wasn't free to leave. And he did that, and he continued to detain him while he waited on a canine to come sniff the vehicle. Now, the officer in the Rodriguez case had not been able to develop probable cause to search the vehicle in the absence of a canine sniff. And so the reason that he was asking a canine to come along was because he knew that if the canine alerted on the car, he would then have probable cause to search the vehicle. And there was a case before Rodriguez called Illinois versus Caballos that basically said that walking a canine around the exterior of a vehicle is not a search under the Fourth Amendment. But Caballos didn't deal with whether or not that walking the canine was something that was in addition to the regular traffic stop. And so in Rodriguez, the canine arrived, but it arrived after the stop was basically over. And it arrived, it alerted to dope, the officer searched, and Rodriguez was arrested. And the problem was, again, by the time the canine got there, the mission of the traffic stop had been completed and the officer had already issued the warning ticket. And basically the court ruled that the officer's original reasonable suspicion justifying the detention was related only to the mission of the traffic violation. And since the officer didn't find anything in the interaction with Rodriguez that would help him develop any separate suspicion of any criminal activity, him detaining Rodriguez to wait for the canine was a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And so the court threw it out and overturned the conviction. Now this is a Colorado case, and Colorado is in the 10th Circuit. And there was actually a 10th Circuit Court of Appeals case that came out in September of 2023 that sort of reiterated the rules in Rodriguez and revisited that case some 8 years later. The case is called United States versus Leon, and I'll leave a link to the opinion in the description. In that case, a Colorado trooper stopped Leon for driving in the left lane without actually passing someone. And so Leon's vehicle had Minnesota plates, and the trooper was suspicious of the way it looked in sort of a disarray. He acted like it was had a bunch of food wrappers in it, and things were out of sorts, and there were religious pamphlets, and he made a bunch of different issues that the court later said were not very suspicious. The trooper asked the driver a bunch of itinerary questions about why he was in the area and what he was doing, and he had a hunch that the guy was trafficking narcotics, but the court said that that really wasn't much more than a hunch. He asked for consent to search, the driver denied consent, and then the trooper ended up detaining him for longer than necessary while he waited on a canine, sort of similar to the Rodriguez case. Well, the canine arrived, alerted on the vehicle, and the trooper searched the car, found 76 pounds, yes, you heard that right, 76 pounds of methamphetamine, a regular old Heisenberg out here. A little Breaking Bad reference for y'all. And Leon was arrested. The district court denied his motion to suppress, and your boy was sentenced to 70 months in federal prison. Now, the appeals court said that there was a moment in the itinerary questions where it was obvious that the trooper was just fishing and he had deviated from the mission of the traffic stop. The court referred to that as the Rodriguez moment. And basically what the court said was that the trooper abandoned the mission of caring for the traffic violation and pursued a separate investigation without having reasonable articulable suspicion of a separate crime. What he ended up doing was he was asking him questions about his itinerary and all that stuff, and then he asked him what the mileage was on the vehicle. And then when he started asking him questions that were really wholly unrelated to the traffic violation, the court said he had abandoned that and he was basically on a fishing expedition that was not permissible in the absence of reasonable suspicion for criminal activity. And therefore, detaining Leon while he waited for a canine, the court found that he was just asking those questions to try to buy time till the canine got there, and that was an unreasonable extension of the traffic stop and thus violated the Fourth Amendment. The conviction of Leon was tossed, and Leon was set free. Now that we know what the standard is for this jurisdiction, let's see how the rest of the stop goes. I'm gonna give you a hint, it ain't great.
And just do me a favor real quick. Just stay right here. I get you're agitated, I get it.
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna just shut up.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you know what's going on now, okay? So my dog did indicate the odor of narcotics in the vehicle, so we are gonna search your vehicle, okay?
Your dog, he smelled narcotics.
He indicated.
Watch this. Hey, look, hold on. Your dog getting hit on my car. I know the cop tricks because I got a brother that's a cop. The cop getting hit, your dog getting hit on. And when you don't find nothing, just make sure you show up and say it in court. Yeah, I'm right here.
Go back there.
I'm right here.
You gotta go back there.
I'm not violating.
I don't want to put my hands on you, but you need to go back here.
I'm not violating nothing.
Please follow with me.
I have the right to
You have the right to
I got a
watch.
body camera on.
You have the right to watch. That's fine. Farther, please. Farther. Like
Bro,
I said,
I'm fine. I ain't doing nothing to you.
I know you're fine. That's why I don't want to put
I'm
hands
not
on
doing nothing to them.
Nothing. I don't want to touch you or nothing. That's why
I'm not
asking.
doing nothing to them.
That's
They
why I'm
violating my
asking,
rights.
Please stand over here.
They
Just
violating my rights.
A little bit farther. All right? You're more than welcome to watch. That's fine. But please, when I ask you, please, at least respect that. Respect what I'm asking you to stay over here, please.
I respect people that treat humans like humans.
I'm trying.
That's what I respect.
I'm trying to show you respect right now, dude. That's all I'm trying to do. I don't even know your first name.
I got drugs in the car, y'all. I got pounds of cocaine and heroin I've been trafficking all over the globe. And I didn't have to get out the vehicle, and y'all couldn't pull me out. I know the law. So you threatened to charge me. That's something else I'm going to bring up in the lawsuit.
Case law says that in any traffic stop, any time, for any reason, an officer can ask a person to exit the vehicle.
The law also says I don't have to get out the vehicle. That's my constitutional right. No crime was committed.
It does. The time an officer pulls somebody over, even if they think that it's for officer safety purposes and they prefer to pull a person out of the car, they can.
They said I'm a drug dealer, y'all. I worked my ass off for years in construction before I built my own company. And I'm going to show you.
You seem like a hard worker.
And he lied. He said his dog hit on my car.
Sir, you're welcome to sit back in the vehicle if you want to wait out here. For the supervisor, you want to wait in the vehicle.
I want you to give me my ticket so I can go to my appointment and pick up my wife.
You don't want to
You've already disrespected. You just lied. He just lied and said that his dog hit on my car. Did you find any drugs, sir?
No, sir.
I know you didn't. Because I'm not no dick. Now give me my ticket.
Okay, if you want to take a seat back in the vehicle.
You want to step out or you?
You said somebody gave you intel that I was a drug dealer and drug detectives followed me?
They gave me intel to stop a car, to identify you, and then also to sniff the car.
Who is these individuals that told you this?
They're
I have a right to know. My lawyer's going to want to know too.
Yeah, well, it'll be in a copy of our documentation.
You're documenting me when I was originally stopped for my tag.
And that was my reason for stopping you.
But you're documenting me.
Everything is documented. It's everything is documented. Like this.
So who are these people? Where they follow me from? You said they followed me. Where did
I
they
don't have
follow
all
me?
that information. It was a really quick, brief conversation to catch up to your car. And and stop you.
And they call him and they say, hey, this guy, we have information that may or may not have any sort of substance, such as like drugs or anything like that, may be in the vehicle. If there's a violation, such as your tag right there, if there's something,
and I can stop you.
You can stop.
And I can get your information.
So,
but you originally said it was my tag,
it is your
but
tag.
then you said I was a drug dealer, so under suspicion of having narcotics in me.
Because I was going to let you go on a warning with the tag, and then that's why I asked you if you had any narcotics.
But why? Because I was black?
It has nothing to do with
Because
that.
black people always have drugs?
No.
It must be because black people always have drugs.
I had no
That's
idea
why
what your race was until I got up to you. So
I just
I'm
wanted
gonna
to
sue the f out there. Watch this. City of Broomfield about to pay me. You gonna add some more to our family portfolio.
Yes, okay. So, this whole thing, I just wanted to ask you, do you still want a supervisor to come?
I want to get to my appointment like I was originally scheduled.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking right now. Okay. Would you still like to speak with our supervisor? If not, the officer's willing to let you go with a warning and let you go to your appointment. If you'd like to, our supervisor's here.
I don't want to meet your supervisor. I want to get to my appointment.
You don't want to meet him?
I want to get to my appointment.
That's just fine, okay? So, like I said, this is nothing about race. This is nothing about any of that. We're giving information. We saw your tags, pulled you over for probable cause of that. I just want to make that clear, okay? This is nothing like that. I want to make that clear. So, my apologies to take up your time today. Do you have any other questions or anything for me right now?
No, sir.
Okay, again, my name's Officer Zamora. I appreciate you, man, that you were up here when I first met you. You've come down here. I really appreciate that, okay?
Because I didn't have no drugs in the car. I'm not a drug dealer.
I see that now, okay? So, I've seen the respect now. I hope you'll see my respect here. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to clarify. I'll let you get on your day, go to your appointment. If you have any questions, got my card, give me an email or whatever, okay? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You have a better day.
So this case is actually even worse, in my opinion, than Rodriguez and Leon. Remember that reasonable, articulable suspicion for an investigatory detention is based on the information known to the officer at the time of the stop. Now, the stop here was admittedly, by everybody involved, pretextual. They even told Mr. Wilson that the drug detectives had been following him, and they didn't usually tell people this, but this was the reason. And so the stop was admittedly pretextual, but it was lawful also because the tags had been dead for several months. But it's clear both from the interactions between the officers and Mr. Wilson and on the body cam footage of the interactions between the officers that they don't have any information other than that the detectives wanted him stopped, identified, and specifically wanted a canine sniff performed. They don't have any particularized facts as to why. They have literally nothing. They don't have anything from the detectives, nothing that they can use, nothing that they can articulate. All they know is that they were given a directive to stop this guy and search his vehicle, and they think that's okay. We all know it's not. According to Rodriguez, before they can deviate from the traffic investigation to do a drug investigation, they need reasonable, articulable suspicion of criminal activity, which again is based on what they know, and they know nothing. Not one of these officers involved makes any effort during the entire traffic stop to investigate the traffic infraction. No one's writing a ticket. No one, as far as we can tell, is running license plate numbers or running driver's license checks or doing anything, not running checking for warrants. No administrative checks at all. No one is in contact with the detectives to try to get them to come to the scene. Nothing. It's obvious that they believe that as long as they have a lawful reason to do the initial stop, they can do whatever they want until they decide to release him, which is not funny, it's actually scary. As an aside, these officers make it obvious that not only have they never heard of the constraints of Rodriguez, but they don't understand Pennsylvania versus Mims either. Officer Zamora makes the statement that he can get any driver out of a vehicle for any reason according to case law. Now, that is not the truth. That's not the law in any way. Mims says that you can get a driver out for officer safety concerns. And it is true that just about any case where an officer is at least smart enough to cite an officer safety concern, even if he's wrong, the exit order will be lawful under Mims. What they try to do is order the driver out for the purposes of abiding by their policy of not running a dog around the vehicle with a person in it. They weren't even smart enough to understand that they have to leverage the exit order against a stated concern related to officer safety, or at least be able to articulate one. They tell him they need to get him out of the car so they can run the dog through the car. Plus, even that would be weak under the circumstances because there are three of them, there's one of him, they're on an interstate in what looks to be the left shoulder against the median. There's literally not a single person involved in this stop that would be safer outside of the car. But they at least needed to try to anchor their exit order to officer safety. They are 100% wrong that they can get a driver out for any reason that they want to. The fact that they said that on video, they made no attempt to make it about officer safety, is going to be obvious to the courts when this thing goes to court that this had nothing to do with officer safety, and it's actually a Rodriguez violation and not an extension of the privileges of MIM. Now, Mr. Wilson is incorrect too, because he states that he doesn't have to get out unless he's committed a crime. We know that's not true under MIMS, but he's not the one who's supposed to be knowledgeable about the laws that are being enforced. It's the police officers, law enforcement. They're the ones who's supposed to know the law. In my opinion, he also kind of does a no-no by getting so exhausted with the way they're treating him that he gives them verbal consent to search the car. I actually don't get it. I try not to say that I get it because I don't know. My skin is a different pigment than his, and I try, for the sake of trying not to insult people who I've never walked in their shoes, to pretend like I would know what that would be like. So I don't say I get it. I do have the ability to understand that he's exhausted. He's tired of being treated like a criminal. And so he's sort of like, he's given up verbal consent. But the thing is, he tells them, I'll let you search the whole thing. I'll let you in the trunk, all that stuff. That's a bad move. And, you know, you want them to have to take every single thing from you under force of arrest or threat of arrest or under duress, unless you're dealing with whether or not they're going to, you know, inflict bodily harm on you. Then, you know, threat of arrest is fine. But when you get out of the car and you give verbal consent, it kind of puts you in a little bit of a bad spot. Even though I do think he has a valid argument for coercion here, still, it's a better idea to get out of the car saying, okay, I'm going to get out under threat of arrest, but I don't consent, and I don't consent to any searches or seizures. In closing, I think Mr. Wilson probably has a winnable civil case here. I mean, because I don't even think they have arguable reasonable suspicion based on the way they handled this, based on the fact that they undertook basically no efforts to try to figure out what he in fact did to cause some officer somewhere to be suspicious of him. They didn't even want to write a warning. They made no attempts to get more information from the detectives, and they did nothing to care for the original mission of the traffic stop. They literally just pulled him over for the tags and held him there until they were satisfied that he didn't have dope, which is an absolute violation of the Fourth Amendment. They have no idea what they're permitted to do under the holding in MIMS, and they basically urinated all over the Fourth Amendment on the roadside for 30 minutes while they violated this guy's rights. So I actually cannot wait to see an update on his channel about what happens when he goes about suing them, because I do believe that they're going to have to write a check to this guy. One of the things that really stands out to me in this case is that this is where we are in this country as it relates to law enforcement. We are either them or we are us. If we're not law enforcement, then we're the bad guys. You saw the way that the officer treated this guy when he was talking about his legitimate businesses. Even in cases where a person is in the legitimate business, all it takes is for a motivated cop to decide that they're a criminal. One of the officers makes the insinuation that the legitimate businesses Mr. Wilson talks about are probably shells for an illegal enterprise of some sort. And if you go back and read the opinion of Leon, the trooper there explains that he was suspicious of Leon because Leon was too cooperative. You know, so it basically just illustrates a very valuable lesson, which is that you can't change their minds. You might as well not try, especially where you have so much to lose. The only thing that's going to make a change in the way that law enforcement is done in this country is that agencies will be forced to change when litigation and pressure from the media and people breathing down their necks becomes too cumbersome for them, and they get caught up in scandal after scandal after scandal. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this, we're seeing more YouTube videos, and that's the reason that all this stuff is coming to light. Anyways, that's all for this one, guys. Thanks for all your support. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave some comments about what you think about this video. Go ahead and check out some other videos on the channel and let me know what you think about those. And until I see you next time, take care of yourselves. Always film your interactions with the police and keep your evidence to yourself.
You